This is Ki with RunScore. Today we'll be covering the initialization files, the .ini that you have in your race folder. These are initial setups for data and values that will help the race in RunScore identify certain areas and fields and modify some of those. The first one we're going to deal with is the race.ini. This handles all the data we have in this race for the modification time, the registration ID, and you can see those in the bottom title bar. Entry ID is the registration ID on your online registration system that is a unique number to track each record. The timestamp is the modification time for that record. The last thing is the race registrations ID. It's which online system name you're using, in this case race roster. The next one we are going to have is in this online registration system. In this case, it would be raceroster.ini, and it just sets out the event name and the Unix times for the last upload and other things. This is just in the background. You won't be modifying or doing anything with this. Now, the first time you log on to your online system in this race, you're going to be, this time, raceroster_fields_mapping.ini. You're going to have to match the field values in the online registration system with the field values in RunScore. Notice we go down through all those. First name under race roster would be first name on our DTA, address 1 and such. Now, those are simple background ini files that we deal with day in and day out when you're using an online registration system. Now let's talk about the building block of RunScore, the entries.ini. This is the initialization file for every time you open RunScore. The ini file is run to modify your DTA or values in memory so that we can operate on this race and score your race. It's broken up into 4 major sections. The first section is system definitions. This is where you're going to set the race name, which shows up on your title bar, the race date and format, which shows up on your title bar to show you what race you're in, defines which age field is, so here it's age, and the date of birth field we design here so we can update all those records by date of birth corresponding to the race date. The modification field, I like to have that, although that is in the race.ini, I like to have it in the DTA so that I can search or do other operations on that. The next section in entries.ini is the operational settings. In this, we're going to set up the not found added, which is the same as invoking Alt-N or not found added in your result screens, but this will do it globally for all the result screen for this race. It's very important to have this in on a transponder race so that any not found added tag reads will give you the new record with that tag and the time for that read. Show additional just invokes F7 for the results screen, all the races or during this race, and that just shows all the additional fields, last name and everything else. You can clean it up the other way if you would like, but I always use that. The show select event, yes, invokes F6, which is the select time column, and easy to use. The next thing, edit results. Your choices are bib, time, or both. That invokes the F3, F4, or F5. Notice this one is both, so the times are tied together with the bib number. So you can't accidentally enter just a bib number and not an associated time, so make sure both columns line up correctly. That's very important on transponder races to set to both so you don't accidentally offset the data. The also next setting is the unregistered number. I've got that set to 0. That's the old bandit number, and that just on a transponder race that doesn't do it unless I'm typing in. That'll just put a 0 in there if it's the bib number is not found. The lookup is where we're going to use the zip DTA in the common folder to assign the city and the state for known zip codes. The other part of that is the auto add. If you've got a new zip code and you type that in, it will add that into the zip DTA. Custom variables are ones that you can set values here in call in the listing file, say as percent gun percent, and you will see 09 AM in there as your time. That way you only have to change it in one location. Now the next thing is that's very important to use on the ini file are control sessions. These allow you to run a pseudo listing file inside the INI to create actions on the DTA. This first one is we're going to combine the first name, the last name into a field called name, and that is done by a selected. The name is the field we're going to work on. We're going to add the selected value first name, selected value last name, and data we're going to put none because we're not calling any listing values from variables of %1, %2, and such. So now another important thing in RunScore is we want to make sure all of our ages don't have a leading 0. 0, 1, and 1 are different under RunScore. We need to get rid of those leading zeros. So here we're going to select age equal to, at this point, a space, so it's blank. Selected age, selected message, 0. The next line, we're going to run that in succession for the data section. And 00 becomes a single 0. 01 becomes a 1, and so on. Very simple through all the stuff on that, and that helps us to clean up the database every time we're running it in case somebody accidentally typed in 01. Now, the next important thing is to run certain functions on the database to create your division field. If you notice on each of these divisions, I have a division set. The simple one that you'll use on almost all races will include that you select the sex equals to %1, select the age %2 greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to %3, and you go to selected division and add your selected message of %4. Notice these values. The female 1 to 9 comes up with a division field female 01 or dash 09. This will help you do all your divisions and such for the race, and allows you to do your age groups and such. That makes life a lot easier. These ini files are very easy to use. The entries ini, I would make sure that you go ahead and use the basic ones we're talking about here, of being able to have your basic system definitions, operational settings, custom variables, and your control sessions. At a minimum, I would go ahead and set up your name if you're going to use that, and your leading zeros, and also your division field. The old way of doing it was with the division file, but the new way is much cleaner and allows you to actually do more information, as you'll see when we talk about advanced uses of the entries any. If you have any questions with the any files, please give us a shout, and we will look forward to talking the advanced uses of the entries any in the next video.